Welcome back to Inside Look, an Inside Ambition segment where we take a deep dive into something happening here at Drexel. I'm Alexandra George. Today marks a year since some of us started to take the global part of the pandemic seriously. Remember when we thought things would go back to normal after our extended spring break? Students finally returned to Philadelphia public schools last Monday after almost a full year of closure. This return came in the midst of ongoing disputes about building safety and ventilation. Concerns were voiced by members of the teachers union about the safety of resuming in-person learning. So, a public health expert, sadly it wasn't Dr. Fauci, reviewed whether it was appropriate to open schools. A decision was ultimately reached that meant a fraction of the district's 120,000 buildings would reopen on Monday the 1st. Plus, Temple announced its fall reopening plan, and Drexel plans to move even more people back onto campus come spring quarter. What does reopening when it comes to education look like? Is it safe? Could it be too late? Now, let's take an inside look. Last October, the Philadelphia School District presented its hybrid learning plan for schools, in which students were offered the choice of attending classes in person, but only for 2 days a week. Sounds like a college student's dream. But since then, school openings have been put on hold several times until just last week. Today, we're going to discuss the ongoing conflict between the teachers union, parents, and school officials. First, we'll take a look at concerns regarding the safety of this plan and ventilation in classrooms. Second, we will talk about why some insist that students need in-person learning to flourish socially and academically. Third, we will talk about what this might mean for universities in the area come this fall. Last month, the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers urged its members to stay home from work, arguing that classrooms would not be properly ventilated and demanding that teachers be vaccinated first. To address these concerns, the district offered to install 3,000 fans in classroom windows with the hopes of improving air circulation. I know what you're thinking. We haven't seen that many fans since The Weeknd bombed that Super Bowl performance. But fans? They're the COVID Destroyer 2.0. I don't think the CDC approved this device. But hey, just stick a mask on it and you'll be fine. Experts say that while window fans do help to push fresh air into classrooms, they create another problem: directional airflow. If a student who has COVID is sitting in front of a fan, the air that blows onto them might then flow onto other students, causing more students to catch the virus. At that rate, COVID would spread faster in Philly schools than it is in Texas now that they axed the mask mandate. As a result, this proposal was abandoned, and instead, schools are opting to install air purifiers for rooms that don't have sufficient ventilation. A group of teachers and parents took their concerns to Twitter with the hashtag #OnlyWhenIt'sSafe, along with a public letter writing campaign requesting that Mayor Jim Kenney delay school openings. Community members have sent 6,000 letters so far. Sounds like Kenney was having his Vernon Dursley moment. It is also worth noting that only 1/3 of eligible students, about 9,000 pre-kindergarten to second graders, actually signed up to return to school on March 1st. Fears about safety and ventilation are clearly overwhelming both teachers and families. Now let's discuss why others are saying that it is necessary to reopen schools. Whereas lamer cities like New York and Chicago simply took inventory of classrooms that had windows or HVAC systems, Philadelphia, the best city, attempted to measure airflow by conducting air balancing tests in all of its classrooms. These tests determine how much fresh air circulates through a given space to decide how many people can safely inhabit it. Furthermore, the district has invested $65 million overall into hand sanitizer stations, protective equipment, plexiglass barriers, ventilation repairs, and social distancing markers. Meanwhile, their textbooks have been out of date for decades, and there is a booger from 1962 stuck under a desk in a classroom somewhere. And we wonder why the pilots movement was brought to Drexel and Penn. As of last week, COVID-19 vaccines were made available to Philly school employees through a partnership with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The first dose of the Pfizer vaccine has now been distributed to at least 9,000 teachers and other faculty. Plus, city officials have said that all Philly educators who want the vaccine will be able to receive it by the end of this month. Students and staff also have access to rapid testing. While schools are in operation, students and staff will be required to pre-screen themselves for COVID-19 symptoms and wear masks. At literally everyone who is not logging their daily symptoms in the Health Tracker app, as an RA, I feel obligated to use this platform to remind you to do so. Those pushing for these measures claim that they will prevent the spread of COVID-19 at schools. After all, we can trust kids to follow these measures because they are so well known for their good hygiene and cleanliness. Wow, I never thought I'd be nostalgic for the days when you could give a peer a good old wet willy. In a report weighing the health and educational risks between virtual and in-person classes, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine concluded that schools have a value beyond merely teaching children. Who would have thunk? For example, schools provide much-needed mental health services, special needs education, childcare, and meals to students. Children in kindergarten through third grade especially need the social interactions that come with being at school, since they are still learning to regulate their own behavior, emotions, and attention. On the bright side, at least these students will have an excuse for their social anxiety and lack of meaningful relationships. I can't say the same. Looking at higher education in the Philly area, it appears that Temple University plans to return to in-person classes by this fall. Temple intends to open all academic buildings, residence and dining halls, and recreation centers on campus. To accomplish this goal, the university has advised students to follow 4 essential pillars of public health: wearing masks, frequently washing hands, following social distancing measures, and regularly monitoring their health. But wait, come here. Come a little closer. Closer? I have a secret to tell you. I heard from a certain very handsome, scaly, fire-breathing mascot that Temple's owl doesn't wash its talons after it goes number 2. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hashtag hygiene or digene. Hashtag Mario would never. Hashtag Peekapoo. Temple is working on a phased return to get students back in classrooms. This spring, the university will expand the availability of in-person classes and keep COVID tests accessible for students and faculty. There are understandable, valid concerns about both keeping schools shut down and opening them up again. Right now, the Philadelphia Teachers Union and the district are still working on a plan to open schools for students above 2nd grade. Moreover, with just a fraction of the district's school buildings being open, we won't know for sure what public education in Philadelphia will look like for the rest of this year. As vaccines are being rolled out, it's important that as students, we are doing our best to stay safe. Now, we want to know what you think. Did the district make the right decision by opening schools up? Do you think that schools have taken sufficient health precautions? And what tea do you have to spill about Temple's mascot? Let us know in the comments below. To stay up to date with all of our content, make sure to follow our Instagram at inside_ambition and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and comment below. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.